All right. This is my session review of August 5th, 2025. Um, this was a pretty eventful session, and you'll see why. I think the conclusion that I'm going to come to by the end of this is that I did at least a pretty good job of fixing mistakes, most notably the mistake of a 10 tick loss on my first trade. Um, by the end of the session, I had managed to recoup um, almost all that. Well, more than all of that. I finished the day up 3 ticks, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering the fact that I was down 10 ticks at the beginning, I would say I'm pretty proud of that. Still absorbing that move. I'm going to try it. I need to mute that video, sorry. So let's jump into it. I'm going to start with trade number 1, which was a 10 tick loss. And let's watch the recording. Absorbing that move. I'm going to try it. Took a loss there. So right away, I can see some contextual errors with this trade. Let me get my screenshot software up. So first things first, and this is just a recurring theme. I am going to do a hypnosis and try to visualize this trade because I just keep making this same mistake. I am entering on a pinch, and this is a mistake I've made many times. It's something I've talked about in so many reviews. Pinch. So that's number one. That's my first contextual error. My second contextual error is that I had an opportunity to get out of this trade because there is a small little slip range developing here. And immediately, I kind of wish I could zoom in on this, but immediately we breach the high of that slip range, and then we breach the low of that slip range. Given the momentum of the move we just came off of, given the fact that we're pinching, if the top breaches and then immediately breaches the bottom, I'm going to assume that this is going to break. And I could have had the opportunity to get out of this trade for a much smaller loss than I actually did. So I'm just going to do this. Boop. Boop. And type this up. So 1, slip range breaches high. 2, slip range breaches low. So contextual cues there. And then I'll go ahead and do another one. So if resistance V flushes and then we immediately revert back to support and we also breach support, chances are we're gonna break out to the downside, especially opposite of the side that broke first, because that's where the event is taking place. Not to mention that we're pinching. That is also a pretty good indicator that we are going down off of a very strong move. Whew. Okay. Let me put my execution on. I think that's about it. This is going to be a red star, obviously. I don't think I should have been trading here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't really matter what the larger time frame idea was, because if you can't nail the execution, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think there was any universe in which a long trade would have worked here unless it was like way back here, which is kind of unrealistic to think I'm going to get in a move that strong. So I'm going to red star it and call it that. Tags, I don't think I had any ranges working for me. I thought I was slip favor, but I think the slip, I'll go ahead and tag it slip favor, because why not? This was meant to be a conservative scalp. In fact, as a support, essentially just reclaim. I think I was just going for the reclaim. I did have order flow in my favor. And maybe a V flush. Execution, I'm not going to bother because I shouldn't have taken this trade. I missed important context. I was, after this trade, I was not calm, so I'll do content. I was patient. This is half an hour into the session. And I was clearly confused here. So let's go to the next trade. This is trade number 2. Oops. I'm going to bankroll point on there. Got it. I'm going to back that up just so we can watch that again. I'm going to try to it. I'm going to try to this.
Big. You're kind of in the middle of 2 book imbalances.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one super tight. I'm going to bankroll point on there. Got it. So this is pretty important. When I take the trade off there, I say how I'm bankrolling, and essentially, bankrolling is just the practice of slowly recouping losses through scalping instead of trying to win it all back at once. So the fact that I had just taken a 10 tick loss for an emotional trader, the impulse is going to be to try and win 10 ticks back, but that never works. It never does. Even if it does work, it's not good. I think it's much more effective to recoup that big loss through smaller wins, because it's also in an emotional and like a morale boost to be netting smaller wins after taking a big loss, rather than like, oh, I took a big loss, let's try to win it all back, and then you take another big loss, and now you're really in trouble. Like your day is in danger of being really bad. So for that reason, I think this was a great trade. I'm gonna green star it. take a sip of my coffee before I screenshot it. Just let that play for a minute. So this is a try to of the same reclaim. Now, one school of thought might be, okay, well, if the first trade that you tried to take here was a red star, then why is this a green star? And the answer to that question is location, I think. I was too impulsive getting in on this initial reclaim. Chances are, by the time it looks good enough to get in it, it's already gone, and that's exactly what happened. I FOMO'd into it, essentially, and took a big loss. However, shortly after that, we came down and we retested. So we retested low, retested low, and now we're showing signs of taking back smaller reclaims. So there's a smaller reclaim right here that we've just taken back. The delta is also supporting the move up. So this is natural price action here. So natural price action. I will write a note here. Delta supporting. And then let me type signs of reclaim. Signs of reclaim because I want to take back this larger reclaim right here. So I'm hoping we move up into this reclaim. Anything else on the larger time frame going on? One important piece of contextual cue is that while delta is supporting on the 3-second for an up move, delta is also supporting. What did I just do there? Delta is also supporting a down move. So delta is supporting a down move on 30-second. Long up on 3-second. So these are kind of in conflict with each other, which happens a lot. Me and Fat Cat talked about that yesterday, about how sometimes time frames can be conflicting, but overall you have to, on one hand, you should take the larger time frame into consideration, but on the other hand, the delta on the smaller time frame is fresher, meaning that like these orders are fresh, and chances are these are actually outstanding orders that you're seeing on the delta. Whereas the higher time frame you go up, those are older orders, and chances are those market participants have probably already closed their positions, whether it be through like market orders or wash trading or what have you. So this was 30-second plus 4 ticks to the long side. 3-second. I also want to highlight the little slip range that I was in. Slip range. arrow key, my entry, my exit. So I essentially just played the slip range there. Delete that actually. My entry, my exit. Cool. So retested low, holding, taking back reclaims into a larger reclaim assisted trade. Delting supporting the move up on the 3-second, which is the fresher price action. But I also need to practice caution on the 30-second. I can't exactly be holding trades. And I think that's it for this guy. So I will paste that into there, upload. Good. I did not have any ranges. I was slip favor. This was a conservative scalp. I had reclaim. I had B flush. I had order flow favor on a smaller time frame. And I think that's it. Yeah, I don't really see anything else. So trade 2, green star trade. I liked it a lot. And I'm fixing losses, which is super important. Entry good, exit good. No mistakes. I was feeling a lot more calm after this. I was very content. Contentment has been very good for me lately. And my patience was pretty solid here. And I was also clear on this trade. I was very clear. Let's continue on. 56.25. Buyer's still absorbing. I'm going to try this, 56.25. Took 3 ticks on it that time, and I think I'm done testing this area. Okay. So, similar kind of trade, almost in the exact same area, and this was only, this is trade number 3, by the way. So trade number 3 was in very quick succession after trade number 2. So this is technically a try 2 area, actually kind of a try 3 since I did go long back here. Sip the old coffee there. All right. So let's screenshot this guy. +30-second plus 3 ticks. I actually think it ended up being plus 2 ticks. I'll put 3 for now. Put 3 ticks long. This is the 3-second. Same deal. I'm just going to highlight these reclaims because that was the primary setup. So boom, boom, boom. So reclaims. That's what I like. So I got to be careful here because this, I don't want to read too much into the delta here because on one hand, it could be the buyers are absorbing because this move came down, they pushed price lower, a delta matched, but then buyers started stepping in. So it's kind of like you could make the argument that we're down here and buyers are like holding the price. However, at this point, at the point where I took this trade, we're establishing a downtrend. So when price is downtrending, but the delta is flat, it's almost like sellers are trying to accumulate orders here. I don't want to read into this too much because this is kind of where shit gets foggy for me. Let me mark my orders here. My entry, my exit. Okay, that was pretty solid. Yeah, I'm not even gonna draw on the delta for this trade because I am actually going to draw this guy out. Caution, longs, delta, supporting, down move. So I am kind of fighting the trend by going long in this area. And we'll come to see later in the review that I actually come to that conclusion and I realize, okay, I need to stop going long here. So this one has significantly less edge than the last one. Yeah, it did end up being a 2-tick trade because of slippage. None, slip favor, conservative scalp. I was just playing reclaims here, essentially. I don't think if there was any other edge. My entry was good, my exit was good. This was a try 3. I need to make sure I highlight try 2 in this one. This 5620. Mistakes. I don't necessarily think I made any mistakes here, but it's just not a great area to be trading in. Calm, content, maybe patient. I feel like taking 3 trades in this small area is not the best patience, and I was in between here. So I am going to yellow star this one. Let's move along to trade 4. So this is trade number 4. I'm going to back it up just a couple seconds. And this is also a long, but I think it ends up being a loss. Let me double check the trade. Yes, this is a 1-tick loss, which isn't horrible. I'm going to take this slip range to the long side. I'm going to cut it for 1-tick loss. See, delta just tells me the moment I'm wrong. Yeah. So I just need to look at this for a second and absorb it in my own mind. All right, so let me back up to where the exact moment I entered the trade. It's right here, right? I did. Where was the trade? Am I missing it? Where is it? Such a quick trade. I can't see it. So I get in there. Delta's not confirming, so I get out, get like 5 or 6 ticks drawdown, and then it goes without me, kind of. I think that was kind of the move I was looking for, but then you'll see if I fast forward the video long enough, like we're in trouble. So I don't think I think this is a red star trade. I like the fact that I got out of it for 1-tick loss. And in hindsight, it's easy to look at it and say, oh, well, had I just held for 10 seconds through 4 or 5 ticks of drawdown, I could have gotten 4 or 5 ticks of profit. So a 1-to-1, right? And 1-to-1s in this business on this time frame are, pretty good. However, that's just hindsight. It can't always be that way. Like the fact that Delta was not giving me what I wanted when I executed the trade, and where we are on the chart is not optimal, is how I'll put it. So let's screenshot this. So this is what I thought was buyer absorption. However, it was very short-lived, and 30-second is still in control. Uh, 30-second framing down move. So I am fighting the trend. Fighting the trend on volume and price action. Price action is downtrending and volume is downtrending. So not good. Not good. I should not still be attacking longs here. 30-second -1 tick. 3-second. And this is where I got in essentially. And this is where I got out. Excuse me. So attacking the same area too many times, especially given the delta context, price and delta are clearly in favor of a down move at this point. So while I am doing a good job of fixing mistakes from earlier, scalping, I'm offsides, and I've noticed in the past that I do have a natural talent for fighting trends. Like I can pull ticks going long in a downtrend day, but it's counterintuitive. Like instead of hyper scalping for 2 to 3 ticks to the long side, I could be getting short on some of these moves for 8 ticks. So it's just about being on the right side of the price action and the volume. Like the volume is clearly pointed to the short side here. So I think I'm kind of forcing my bias on the market. Like I want the market to start taking back some of these reclaims, and that's not what's happening today. That is not in play. So for that reason, I'm going to red star this trade. This is still trade number 4, red star. No ranges. I did have a bit of slip favor here. It was meant to be a conservative scalp. Factors of support. I didn't really have a lot going on for me here. I thought I had delta accumulation, but that's not the case. And I don't want to tag it as such. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and mark this as no edge. Context miss. I think I'm maybe calm at this point. I am still content. I haven't dealt with contentment issues in a long time, but I think I'm losing patience. I'm gonna mark this as yes, impatient, and I was confused in this area. Excellent execution. I'm really glad that I came away with a 1-tick loss. I think another universe this could have been much uglier, but I guess that's the name of the game. Is just knowing how to manage your trades. So this is trade 5. This is the last trade of the session, and it's my only short trade, and it's my biggest trade, ironically. So it's stubbornness is what it is. I'm stubborn. It took me. What time is this? This is 10:40. So it took me almost an entire hour. It took me more than an hour for me to realize, oh, I'm fighting the trend here. And when I finally realized that, I ended up pulling off my my biggest trade. I'm going to rewind this a couple minutes because I remember there is a lot of contextual cues going on here. So I'm going to let this play for maybe even like a minute or two. Like it's spoofed up. Remember that when I was about to go short and you say, wait, they're going to spoof it. And that's exactly what they did. So let's see them spoof up and then take the reclaim down. I'm going to watch it. I'm stalking for a short here. Got it. 34.50.
Loading on the sell side slightly. Wait, you're getting buy reloads.
I'm going to take that for 2 points. Got it. That was the execution, and I'm really happy with the way I executed this. This might end up being an A+ setup. I really like this one. I'm gonna play the video for just a couple more, like for like another minute or something, because I think we get into a conversation about the trade. So let's see. Let's be green on the day.
They're reloading on the buy side. So subtle.
Yeah, it's the subtleties today, man. They're making you work for it. Like that was not an easy 2 points right there. See, I think the old version of me would have been pissed off right now that it kept running, but how good of a fucking idea was that, dude? God, that makes me feel good.
I got a big trade myself, 31 and 28s, but I was in it on when you go. They're spoofing it, so I was in it.
So, just a little bit more context as to how I was feeling about this trade. Like I was hyped, man. I was fucking fired up. So I am clearly in trend favor here, which I really like. Let's get into the screenshot. So final trade of the day, best trade of the day. I want to mark this out first. This is obvious seller reloading. So Delta is going up. So buy orders are coming in, like big, like pretty significant fucking buy orders are coming in, but price is flat, which means that buyers are trying to step in, but sellers are just eating them. They're eating them for lunch, and it's not going anywhere. Price is not moving on all those orders, which means those buyers are now underwater, or at the very least, those buyers are no longer in the market. They've probably gotten out for either a break even or like small, tiny little losses or something like that. But those buyers are no longer a factor. I want to mark up my execution now since I am in danger of forgetting where it was. So I believe my entry was around here. Actually, let me draw this a little differently. This was my entry. And I believe my exit was somewhere around here. If I'm not mistaken. So my entry, which was perfect, by the way. I've been nailing entries lately. My exit. However, I do think I could have held this a lot longer. So in a perfect world, I think I would have liked to hold for this low right here. Ideal exit. So a little premature on the exit, but again, I'm bankrolling a huge loss from earlier today. And part of me thinks like I've already recouped most of that big loss. Now I have the wiggle room to push a trade, but I just don't want to think like that. Like I don't want to beat myself up for taking profit here because I don't think that's healthy. Plus 8 ticks short and a plus. I'll stick that there. Obvious seller reloading. So price is still confirming downtrend. Same thing here. I'll even draw this out. So, oh wait, it's from here to here, and here to here. Obvious seller reloading. All right, that's good. And then I want to highlight these two candles here. And these two candles here. spoofing. Price shot up on almost nothing. This exact thing happened earlier in the session. Okay, and then we also broke through some key resistance. So we broke through some liquidity, which gave the market some breathing room. And what am I not doing here? I'm not entering on the pinch. Price is getting super tight down here, and I want to emphasize that. So price is getting super tight. Not entering on pinch. So broke through liquidity, gets sucked back down. I'm not entering on the pinch. I'm waiting for price to loosen and then getting in. Delta's confirming on the 30-second with reloading. I think this was a great trade. And then, also acting as reclaim. Spoofing, also acting as reclaim. Cool. I love this trade. I love this trade. Paste from clipboard. Now we got that in there. This was a green star. I still didn't have any ranges. Slip Beaver. This was a more aggressive move to move, I would say. I wasn't necessarily looking to hold this forever, but I would have liked to get low of day, and I actually had that thought. But that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up over that. So I had a reclaim. I had technically a V flush because we broke above liquidity and then V flushed back in. We had order flow in our favor. We had I already marked reclaim. I think that's it. I'm going to mark liquidity area. I know it's counterintuitive to have both of these marked, but I'm going to mark it anyways just so that I have that in future tags. Entry good. Exit was a little early, but that's okay. I was calm here. I was content. And I was really patient waiting for this trade to set up, and I had clarity. Great trade. I am going to change one of these tags real quick. Order flow. I want this to say Delta favor. Got it. Cool. That's my A plus trade at the end of the day. Trade number 5 finally switched short after a day of fighting the trend, and it makes sense that that would be my best trade of the day. So that's my day essentially. What I might want to do is still absorbing just to get a little bit of breath work in, and to get the point across that I should not be fucking entering on these pinches. I'm just going to visualize this trade, my first trade for a 10 tick loss. I'm going to just mute my mic for a second and focus on some basic breath work to calm my heart rate down and stuff, and then I'm going to do some Wim Hof breaths. Okay, so I am going to replay this trade and imagine myself not entering it and waiting for price to get loose because it's relative to the move it just put in. It is so tight up here. It's just pinching. It's getting so fucking tight. And I cannot be entering trades on those tight movements. So I'm going to do Wim Hof breaths for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to play the video. Okay, so what I did is I tried to imagine patience, and I tried to feel what patience feels like. So I play the video a couple seconds before I enter, and I just imagine myself thinking, okay, we're pinching. Price is getting super tight up here. I cannot do anything until it loosens up a bit. And just having that patience, watching it breach the top side, and it gets sucked back in. And then I think, okay, I'm still patient. I'm waiting. It's still tight, and chances are we're going to head down because we just breached the top. Wait for it to get loose. Wait for it to get loose. It's getting a little looser here. A little bit loose, but price is still downtrending. Sellers are still absorbing here. And then right around here, I might notice, okay, the candles are slowing. We've got some slowing candles here. We just put in a wick. We tested the wick again. We're holding. There's some buyers. I'm going to enter now. Enter long. A little bit of drawdown. Buyers still stepping in. Take it off here for about 1.5 points, maybe 2 points. So it's not necessarily about, oh, I wish I took a trade later. Like, that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm just imagining myself not trading up here. So I just wanted to get that breath work in real quick because if I could take one lesson away from this session, it's to not enter on pinches when price gets super tight. And that's exactly what I ended up doing in my last trade. So kind of ironic. My first trade was my worst trade, and my last trade was my best trade. But that's trading for you. So that was my review session for today, and I'm going to cut it there.